border security, DACA, TPS, and many other things. Straightforward, fair, reasonable, and common sense, with lots of compromise. Our proposal is not intended to solve all of our immigration challenges. This plan solves the immediate crisis, and it is a horrible crisis.
That is the president pushing his deal to end the government shutdown, one that offers a 3-year extension of protections for the Dreamers in exchange for $5 billion plus in wall funding. But Democrats are calling it a non-starter.
Handedly took away DACA and TPS protections in the first place. Offering some of those protections that he took away back in exchange for the wall is not a compromise, but hostage-taking.
Joining us now, Congressman Mark Walker, a Republican from North Carolina, who is the vice chair of the House GOP conference. Congressman, thank you for your time this morning. So the president sweetens his offer in an attempt to negotiate with Democrats over the weekend. Democrats basically respond, calling it a non-starter.
Yeah, it's interesting, Sandra. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys. These ideas came from Democrats just last week. The humanitarian assistance, $800 million, the DACA, the TPS. These were submitted by Democrats. As you use the term sweeten, the president has continued to sweeten, but still hasn't been enough to move Speaker Pelosi and Chuck Schumer off some of the hard, fast positions they have continued to hold.
So I just wonder where this leaves us. What a weekend that was, thinking that the president would take to the microphone to publicly sweeten his offer to Democrats. And they've basically responded to all that, saying it's a no-go. John Sununu, the former governor of New Hampshire, was on with us earlier and said this.
Speaker Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have not been serious about this all along. I think the president has to focus on trying to get his message across to the folks who don't support him out there. I think he's got to focus on the fact that they're not coming to the table. And he's got to talk about the fact that they have supported this position in the past.
I mean, Chuck Schumer held a press conference yesterday saying this isn't a compromise, this is hostage taking. How do you go forward?
Well, first of all, that terminology is preposterous. But we've also seen some of the other members of leadership on the Democratic side begin to break ranks. Speaker Pelosi has continued to use the terminology immoral. How offensive is that? I'm kind of getting weary of those who are saying that Speaker Pelosi is only trying to appease the very hard radical left. She is the radical left and the most extremist of this whole negotiating process. Republicans have continued to try to move to find some kind of middle ground, but she's refused to allow us to move forward. Listen, as a former minister, I look at it this way. God loves all people equally, the migrant, us, but we also have an obligation, Speaker Pelosi and I both, we take an oath to protect the safety and the security of the American people. To me, that's the most immoral behavior that she can really reveal, is continuing to use the terminology. Chuck Schumer's hostage-taking, Speaker Pelosi is using the terminology immoral. When Steny Hoyer last week even acknowledged there are places alongside the border that structures would make a sense, reducing or even eliminating some of the problems that we've seen.
He said walls work. And you know, when I ask where does this all go, we know that the State of the Union is coming up, and in the wake of all this, Nancy Pelosi suggested to the president that he does not publicly deliver the State of the Union address. I wonder what you think is going to happen with that as well, considering that's just over a week away now.
Well, I believe Article 2, Section 3 allows the president to convene both houses if he feels like there is an extraordinary circumstance. This is an extraordinary circumstance because it's never been done before, where the Speaker of the House rescinded an offer to the president to address not only the houses but also to our country. I hope she gets her heart right in this, and you've had a beautiful tribute already to Martin Luther King Jr. I believe it was his words that says the time to do something right is right now. I hope that we can continue to move forward and get this done. This is ridiculous. It's become petulant behavior, a little bit on both sides, but there are 800,000 people who are beginning to suffer, and we need to resolve this crisis now.
Congressman Mark Walker, thank you.
Thank you.